Mark my words, when somebody's thinking about hiring you as an agent, doesn't matter if it's a buyer or a seller, the first thing they're gonna do is Google you. It doesn't matter how the lead or contact came to know about you. It could be a lead you generated online through a landing page or whatever. It doesn't matter. It could be a referral from your mother, and it doesn't matter. It could be somebody who slid into your DMs on Instagram. It still doesn't matter. The first thing they're gonna do is Google you, and the question is, what are they gonna think? Is what they find online gonna affirm their choice to hire you, or is it gonna leave them thinking, whoa, I really dodged a bullet on that one? Obviously, we don't want the latter, we want the former. So today we're talking about how to control the first impression. What do I mean by that? I mean, we're gonna teach you today how to PPC your name. What do I mean by that? Pay-per-click your name. What do I mean? What am I talking about? We're gonna talk today about how to run a Google search ad, whereby when somebody says your name search on Google, we control the very top link, the top ranking result in Google search. In other words, we're gonna control that first impression. What's the first thing they see? We can then direct them to whatever links we think best represent you and affirm them in their choice to say, absolutely, I'm hiring that agent right there as my buyer's agent, as my listing agent. It doesn't matter, they're the best. We have to control that first impression, so we'll do it today with Google search ads. Now, this video is a full step-by-step demonstration of exactly start to finish how to do all that. If you're relatively new to Google Ads, I highly recommend you go catch the interview I did with Josh Frankel in Marketing Stream Episode 1. We talked about all things Google Ads because guess what? Google's a big company and they have lots of different ads. They have Google search ads, which is our topic today. That's the bread and butter. Google search ads are basically you type in a keyword on Google search, Hilton, Marriott, and then the use of that keyword triggers certain results, but they're paid results, they're ads, right? They're search ads. Only today the keyword is your name, you're the keyword. That's the goal today. So those are Google search ads, but there are other types of ads. There's Google Display Network ads, there's Google Discovery ads, there's Google Local Services ads, there's Google My Business ads and local extension ads, and there's YouTube ads, and there's all these different, there's shopping ads, there's tons of ads. We're not gonna get into all of them today. Today we're talking about Google search ads, and we're gonna put you in that very top position to control the first impression. So without further ado, let's dive in. All right, first things first, you need to create a Google advertising account, and then from there, I'll go step by step on exactly how to build out this PPC campaign. To do the ads account, to make that, you go to google.com first and make sure you're logged into the right Google account, the one that you want your advertising account to be associated with. So log into that, and then from there, just simply type in the browser, go to ads.google.com, ads.google.com, and then you can click either the Start Now button or you can click the Sign In button. We're gonna click Sign In, and then it's gonna immediately throw us into the ads portal where it starts trying to create an ad campaign. Now, there are two different types of Google advertising accounts. There is the Express versus the Expert. By default, it will put you into an Express account. If you haven't done this before, it's going to do that. Say, get more calls, get more website sales or signups, get more visits to your physical location. This is the Express account. And by default, Google tries to get you to build your ad campaign as soon as you set up the ad account. That's normal. It will walk through the billing and everything at the end of it. That's fine though. But I want to leave this Express account and go into the Expert mode. Just click that little blue text right there. And that's all it takes, and it's gonna still launch us into a campaign to build, but at least we're in the expert mode now. Now, right here, if you've watched other videos of mine, you might have seen a page like this before. I call this dispatch. We're in the new campaign, we're creating a campaign, and it's basically saying, hey, select the goal that would make this campaign successful to you. All right, so what do I want? I want sales, leads, website traffic, product or brand consideration, boom, boom, boom. What do I want? And the answer is I'm choosing website traffic because this is a PPC, your name. People are gonna Google search you, and I wanna control that top result in the Google search results. And so therefore I want them to click a button and go to my website of my choice, a landing page, my web page, whatever I want. We're gonna send them to a website, and then it says, great, now select a campaign type, which is code for, we have all these different advertising products. Which one do you want? Google search, display, shopping, video, which is YouTube and stuff, or discovery. We're choosing search. All right, and then from there it says, select the ways you'd like to reach your goal, which has nothing to do with this question at all, but just put in your website. So I'm gonna put in jasonpantana.com. That's it. And then you can create a conversion action here. I'll take a quick little sidebar on what this is. So there is the option, and I'm not gonna go into this much detail, but if you hooked up Google Analytics, for instance, to your Google Ads account, you can create what are called goals. You can also do it through your Google Ads tag and create a conversion action whereby basically you put some code on the back end of your website so that it can basically spy on your website and you can try to drive certain actions on your website. Now, for today, to keep things simple, I'm just going to try to get them to click the button and go to your website. So we don't need to do this today. However, this is a savvy thing that maybe we'll make future videos about. Click continue and we're leaving dispatch and we're going to go into our campaign settings. That's fine, get started. All right, first things first, it confirms that we're doing a website traffic goal type search campaign. This is just like the heading. And then it says campaign name, and let's just call it, we'll say PPC, your name, like that. That's what we're gonna call it. And then it says networks. Where is this sucker gonna run? Well, Jason, I thought it was a Google search ad. Yeah, it is, but they're always trying to make more money. They got that display network right there, and I'm gonna uncheck that box because it will likely burn up your budget because it'll be easy to put those ads there. So we're gonna leave it at just the search network alone. And then let's click show more settings to see what they're not showing us. Oh, look at that. They're not showing us an end date. So just like Google, in pure fashion of Google, there is no established end date. So I'm gonna choose a start date of, I'm filming this on the 27th. I'll choose tomorrow to let it go through a review process. And we're gonna let it run for, let's let it run for like a couple of weeks. So 28th through the 12th. That'll be a decent enough time to run it. You can run it for longer, you can run it for shorter, that's your prerogative. Okay, so I'm gonna scroll on down, and then I see this really cool thing here called dynamic search ad setting. Get automated search targeting and customized ad headlines based on your website. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like I don't have to do any keyword research, because this is the hardest part about doing Google search ads is the keyword research. I have to find out and there's a keyword planner tool they give you, and it's complicated, and I have to figure out what kind of things are people searching for and in what order are the words, and do they use these words? Are there common misspellings? Blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna just do these dynamic search ads because all I have to do is put in my domain, jasonpantana.com, and then I'm gonna let Google index my website. In other words, Google's gonna comb through my website. This will be your website as you're doing this at home. It's gonna comb through your website and it's gonna figure out your name and all that, like your biography and all the common details that people might search to get to your website versus me having to try to analyze what are the things people are gonna search to pull me up in the web results. So we're gonna choose dynamic search ads. Dynamic search ads, here's our definition. Target relevant searches automatically based on your website, then use headlines automatically customized to people's actual searches. I like the word automatically a lot. So we're choosing those. Those were buried in those additional settings. So if I click hide more settings, that goes away. So make sure you're gonna expand that show more settings to see, we gotta establish an end date unless you wanna pay Google for every day of your life, which maybe you do. And then these dynamic search ads are right there and they're super cool. Let's keep moving on. I'm gonna scroll on down and I see targeting and audiences. I don't need to do anything with this. I'm gonna target all countries and territories because candidly, you don't know and I don't know where people are at location-wise when they're searching for Jason Pantana or when they're searching for your name search. So I don't care where they're located as long as the keywords trigger my ads. So all countries and territories, that's fine. Then we're gonna skip over audiences. In other videos, I've done audience training, but I don't care about audiences right now because again, all I care about is, are they searching my name? That's it. I wanna control the first impression. Now we're in the budget and bidding section to find how much you wanna spend and how you wanna spend it. So let's do budget. You can do it as cheap as $1 a day. Now, here's the thing to think about. How popular are you? Because the more popular you are and the more people are actually searching for you, the more competitive those keywords are. Therefore, your budget should go up. But if you're like, no offense, like not getting a lot of activity on searches, then you can probably have a low spend per day because nobody else is competing for those keywords. I hope that made sense. So I'm gonna like $1 a day, $3 a day, $5 a day. You can trial and error it. Do it for a bit. If it works, great. If it doesn't, turn the dial up and spend some more money if the ad's not really distributing. Now, sidebar, here's how you can know if you're not spending enough. If you did, let's just say $1 a day, and then your ad was approved, but it wasn't using up any budget, it wasn't running for all intents and purposes, that's generally a sign that there's just not enough search activity and or they're not spending enough money to generate ads on those searches. So usually the solution is spend more money and then see what happens. Turn it up. You're giving basically Google a little bit more oomph to run those ads when people search those terms. However, it could also be that just nobody searches those terms. which is a different problem for us to discuss in a future video. Let's keep going down to the bidding section. By default, it's on clicks. Had I on that last screen created a custom conversion action, the thing we talked about, that's more complicated, it would have been set to conversions, which is grayed out right there because I haven't set up the conversion tracking right now. That's okay, because right now all I'm trying to do is control the first impression, and if they click and go to my website, 2 thumbs up. I'm happy for that. So I'm going to leave it on clicks, and you can set a maximum cost per click bid limit. You don't have to. I'm going to just let it be, and then once again, there's show more settings. Let's see what they're not showing us. So here's the conversions tracking. You can set it up there. We don't need to do that right now. Add rotation, I'm going to leave that alone. So that was one where we didn't really need to reveal it. Next, we get down to add extensions. Now, there are lots of different extensions that are pretty useful for us in this type of an ad campaign. First things first, what are Sitelink extensions? So here's a quick little Google Ads help, whatever, note about Sitelink extensions, and they look like this. Example, site links in a search ad on a computer, on a desktop. So there's the ad headline, which all that's going to be dynamically, automatically generated. We're not going to have to write that stuff because we're using dynamic search ads. So stand by. Like, again, these dynamic search ads are so cool because they take so much work out of building search ads. Then we see down here these extra links. Boom, 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 boom. Those 4. Those are Sitelink extensions. They're additional links on the site, and they're an extension of the main link. So your main link is that dynamic search ad, right? Which is going to vary depending upon what the person searches. It's going to be customized. I'll show you more on that in a second. But then we have Sitelink extensions, and this can just increase our click-through rate so that you have other options for someone to click and want to go to your website. So that's all that a Sitelink extension is. So here we are back into our ads extensions. Let's click open Sitelink extensions, and I have none. This is a new ad account that we just set up. So let's go ahead and add a new Sitelink extension by clicking the little plus right there at the bottom. Okay, so it says Sitelink text. Now I pre-drafted some of this, so I'm going to put in a title, and I'm going to say blog articles. So 13 out of 25. Now remember, I'm doing this for me, which is jasonpantana.com. So I've got a blog and I try to get booked for speaking events and things like that. So we're going to be doing this for me, but really you're doing this for you. What would you put in here? Maybe this is search for homes or a free home valuation or something like that. Maybe there's a special widget or something on your website that you want to put as an extension to try to increase your click-through rate and get more people onto your site when they search for you, okay? It could be seller reviews, buyer reviews, whatever you want. I'm going to put blog articles because I'm using me as an example. So there's that. Description line 1, it gives me 35 characters. So I'll put training videos for realtors because that's what my blogs do. Description line 2, I'll put digital marketing ideas for agents. Final URL, in other words, if they click that, where am I going to send them to? So for that, I'm going to put https://jasonpantana.com/blog. And that will send them there. And look, I just made it 35 out of 35 characters. That's the first one. Let's do another site link. So in the example I showed you, it had those 4 site links. We're going to do 2 for me. So I would say at least do 2. But if you do 4, super duper, that's great. So the second one is going to be, we'll say book Jason because that's my goal. Now for you, again, it might be different. It could be free home valuation. It could be search for homes. It could be what sellers say, what buyers say, download our seller guide, our buyer guide, things relevant to you that would control that first impression. I'm going to trust your judgment in terms of what that looks like based upon what's in your website. All right, so book Jason, description line 1, I'll say keynote presentations and webinars. Description line 2, I'll say project-based consulting. Final URL, I will say https://jasonpantana.com/services. Okay, let's move on. Sitelink 3 I'm not going to do. You can add more. And then I want to show you these options, Sitelink URL options. That's for a tracking template. That's too advanced. We're not going to do that right now. On the advanced options, you can make it so that the site links are only on a mobile device versus desktop. I don't know why that matters to you, but you could. If it's a mobile widget or something like that, you could. And then you can establish the days when the Sitelink extensions actually are eligible to show and the hours of the day. So like maybe you've got a coupon or something like that, which is unlikely for real estate, but maybe there's something that's time sensitive or it's not an overnight kind of offer. That's okay. You can basically set a schedule. You don't have to. I'm not going to, but you could. Know that's there. So I'm going to click save. And I've now got these two, blog articles and book JSON as Sitelink extensions. Now, one more to make mention to is call extensions. Add a phone number to your ad. If you want someone to call you direct, you can add a call extension and it will show up right next to your ad campaign, which is pretty cool. So just for example, if I do a web search for Tom Ferry, boom, I see his ad right up top. Here's his Sitelink extensions, but notice, boom, there's a phone number right there on mobile or desktop. That's a call extension. That's a call extension. So to add that, you just simply go in here and you fill out the details and that's it. You can use a trackable, attributed number, whatever. That's all fine. Let's just click save and continue. And we're gonna leave the campaign settings and we're gonna go into the set up the ad groups, our next little section. We can name this one whatever we want. I'm gonna call it PPC, your name, just to have kind of a naming convention. Now, it says categories recommended for your website. So it's already analyzed my website. Remember, we did dynamic search ads, DSAs, dynamic search ads. It found 11 categories. I can check them all, or I can uncheck them all. And it said real estate, QR codes, ads, Jason Pantana, real estate agents, local service ads, email, YouTube Shorts, Tom Ferry, who obviously I'm a coach for, Google, YouTube. I can choose out of there. Now, since I'm trying to control the top result when somebody searches my name, I'm going to choose Jason Pantana. And then you can do specific web pages. Now that's interesting because based upon like QR codes and some of the details, it looks like it was reading my blog and finding things that were off the beaten path in terms of just my name ranking in the search results. So I can put in some specific URLs that I wanted to analyze. So for example, I could put in jasonpantana.com/services. Then I can hit enter to go to the next line. I could put in jasonpantana.com/about, which is my biography, and I can add those over here. So click add, and now it's analyzing those. I can also just add basically https://jasonpantana.com, and then click add. And so now the dynamic search ads, it's targeting based upon the contents of these 3 links and that use of the name Jason Pantana in Google search. That's exactly what I want. Click save and continue. Now we go to the create the ads. Again, they're dynamic search ads, which is fun because look, it shows you a preview and it says dynamically generated headline. Description 1 I've got to write, but I don't have to come up with a headline. The headline can change based upon what the person searches. I'll say that again. If they search Jason Pantana, or if they say like something that has to do with maybe my about page or something like that, the headline can change to conform to the nature of their search. That's awesome. It's awesome. All right, so final URL is dynamically generated. Headline, dynamically generated. Display URL, dynamically generated. In other words, it's going to make everything customized based upon their search. So from there, we got description 1, description 2. So I pre-wrote this. I'm going to say Jason Pantana is a coach and speaker for top real estate coaching program, Tom Ferry International. That's my jam. Description number 2. Notice that I got a 90 character limit. So I'll put for description number 2, where'd I put it? His dynamic presentations equip professionals to remain competitive and successful, if I do say so myself. So I'll put that. And now you see my ad preview is coming along. And then you've got, again, campaign URL options. That's going to be like tracking templates. This is complex stuff that we don't have to worry about. Don't worry about that. Not for today. Then you click done, and then you click save and continue, and it's going to simply go through the review of your ad. So I'll click save and continue. And once that's done, it's going to go checking your campaign, and it's going to basically go through. It says the following might negatively impact your performance, and it says this campaign does not have conversion tracking set up on your website. We know that. We know that, but I'm still going to get them to my website, and it's still going to be optimized to get them to click. So it tells me that I didn't set an end date. Whoops, don't do that. All countries, territories, all languages, website traffic's the objective. We're doing the search ads. It's going to be a maximized clicks bid strategy. I'm spending $1 a day. I can simply click publish, and then it's going to go and take my credit card, and you're done. You're now in the queue to control that top impression, to position yourself as the agent of choice. The first thing people are going to do is Google you. What are they going to find? This is your chance to control that top result. I hope this helps. If you haven't subscribed to my channel on YouTube or connected with me on social media, let's do it. Let's be friends or buddies or subscribers or followers together. Leave a comment, tag a friend, and let me know future topics that you'd like me to cover in these training videos. Have a powerful day, and I hope this helps you win in your business. Thanks so much.